Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and this is my 2019 Mazda 3 hatchback in all-wheel drive. I bought it on August 13th, 2020, and as of this morning, it has hit 50,000 miles. That's right, in nearly 20 months of ownership, I've done half 100,000 miles in it, which is just insane to think about. So the point of this video, we'll be talking about everything that has failed between 35,000 miles and 50,000 miles. I've done multiple other updates of this car in the past, so I highly recommend checking those out. And please leave a comment on what mileage increment I should go on from here on out. Should I do every 10,000 miles, make one of these videos? Every 25,000 miles, make these videos? Let me know in the comment section down below. But let's do a quick refresher before we talk about the rest of the car. In the past, my major complaints have been as follows. The paint is really thin and chips really easily. Basically, the whole front end of my car is rock chips. Kind of depressing, but it is what it is. I'd highly recommend getting the car coated in some type of ceramic covering or vinyl covering or something to protect it from rock chips in the front. Machine gray and soul red metallic are the thinnest colors from Mazda. However, they're all pretty much thin, so you're really not going to escape the rock chips. My second biggest complaint with this car has been with the wheels. I bent a wheel on a pothole, I got a bubble in my tire at about 22,000 miles, and the brakes are not great, but we'll be talking about brakes more throughout the rest of this video. My final big complaint about the car is the interior materials. They scratch incredibly easy, but that's going to be found across most vehicles in today's market. So with those nitpicks out of the way, let's talk about what has failed in recent mileage and talk about the big 5-0. Well, first of all, let's start off with the license plate up at the front. I went through an automatic car wash and the front license plate bracket got ripped off. This is actually a new one you see on the car. Here is the part and part number, and this is me replacing it. I think it took maybe 15 minutes to do, and the part only cost $17. I know that that is user error, and it was the one automatic wash I went through because it was so salty on the ground during the winter that I had to get the thing washed, and of course that wash ripped the plate off. So it is user error. However, I do bring that up because if you do want or need a new front license plate bracket, it's only 17 bucks, which isn't bad in my opinion. I also want to mention in the last 50,000 miles for the winter time, I know it is April here and finally spring, but I did put this car on winter tires for the winter, Blizzexes. I made a whole video about that, so if you want to know how much I spent on those, please go check out that video. Spoiler alert, it was like 1,200 bucks, I think, for new wheels and tires. Not bad. But this thing is an absolute tank once put on winter tires. I just didn't hit a mileage milestone while I still had them on, so I'm back to my summer sets, which are the all-season Continentals. Now we're back down here, as I feel like we always are with this car. Let's talk about the brakes. I did get the brakes fully replaced, rotors and pads. I complained that around 17,000 miles, the brakes were already warped. These brakes are incredibly cheap, incredibly thin, and so let's head over to the garage and talk about exactly what went wrong. All right, so we're here in the garage, and my local Mazda dealer that I got the car serviced at was gracious enough to actually give me 2 of the rotors and some of the brake pads from my car after they replaced it. So I'm going to be showing you guys what the actual wear and tear was on the brake rotors and pads at about 45,000 miles. So we'll start off here with the rear brake disc. We'll take the pads out of here. And here is the disc itself. As you can see, there's some uneven wear marks, which means either a little bit of warping or some of the pads weren't wearing properly. If we flip it over here, the front side doesn't look too bad, but again, you do see some gouges, and you do see here where the brake pad must have been sitting or sort of imprinted itself at some point on here. Now, I'm not a brake expert, not claiming to be, but something that was kind of alarming was this interior rusting. As you can see, it's starting to actually flake off. And even as I just rub my glove over it, you're seeing bits and pieces start to come off. In about 18 months of driving, 18 months of ownership, I'm not super happy to see this. So that is the rear brake rotor. Oh geez, look at all that just came off. This is the rear brake rotor from the Mazda 3. Here we have the pads, and honestly, the pads actually don't look that bad. There is some gouging in them, which is to be expected at 45,000 miles, but they actually had a fair amount of life left. If you actually look at it from the side, Did I really absolutely need brake pads in the rear? Probably not, but since everything else was getting done, it's never a bad idea to get new pads. These might have some life left in them, but at this point, why risk it? Now we'll move over here to the big guy. This is the front rotor from the Mazda 3. Most cars will have larger front brakes than rear brakes, so that's how you can tell front and rear. I actually can't think of a car off the top of my head that would have larger rear brakes because all of the momentum when stopping is moving forward. So this is the front disc, and as you can see, even right off the bat, this is starting to flake off this outside edge here. Oh, there we go, flaking off more. And the inside is completely crusty. I mean, look at this. Again, we'll see the same sort of ridges formed around the rotor. That's pretty typical. You do see some hot marks for sure, and these were definitely warped at some point. Now, I complained about brake warping, I think maybe 20,000 miles into ownership. These warped really early on, but they did hold on till about 45,000, but you could see some definite warm marks, some definite burn marks around the outside of the brake rotor. But the biggest thing, the most alarming thing to me with these brake rotors was this crustiness. I mean, it is, just listen. I'm not a big fan of that. We'll also take a look at the front pads. Now, these have some vertical scratches in them as well. These have taken quite the little beating, and so these were probably pretty ready to get changed out. Of course, could you have taken these further? Yes, but with peace of mind, I don't know. So the pads were honestly not really the biggest issue with the brakes. It was these rotors. All said and done, to get all 4 discs and all of the pads changed, it cost about $1,400. I'll put the actual price up on the screen, which is not great, especially at 50,000 miles. You should start thinking about brakes around 50,000 miles. At the end of the day, getting these swapped out at 45,000 miles was preventative maintenance. However, I was able to pay for it. I was going on a long road trip the next day, so I figured might as well, and I'm very happy that I did. I have brand new discs all around on my car, which just gives me a little bit of peace of mind. But this is what the discs looked like after 45,000 miles on a 2019 Mazda 3 hatchback all-wheel drive. With that being said, I am very happy to report that, well, I don't have anything else to report. This thing has been absolutely awesome. Here is an updated version of my map of how many states in the United States I've taken this car to. 50,000 miles in 20 months is no small feat. And this car, I really, really, truly love it. People think that I make these videos just complaining about this car. And I apologize if it comes off that way, because this car has been absolutely fantastic. You're gonna see these issues across all makes and models, whether it be Mazda or not. I'm just sharing my experiences I've had with my personal car. And to be honest, I've never been happier in a purchase. This thing has been so good. Everything I want it to do, it has done, and done nearly flawlessly. I love this thing. I really, really do. I hope that comes across in the video. I drive the ever-living snot out of this car, and it just takes it, and I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Just wish it had a little bit thicker paint. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please check out my other updates on mileage from this car. And at the end of this video, whenever I hit the next milestone, you'll see that video as well. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about the 2019 Mazda 3 hatchback with all-wheel drive, please leave it in the comment section down below. I've spent 50,000 miles in this car, so I know a little bit about it. So please leave your comments in the comment section down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.